That's the 90s X-Men cartoon
Oh,
theme
I
song.
I have no idea what he's doing.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh,
I
only
only
true
watch-
X-Men fans would get that.
I know. I'm not a true X-Men fan, and I never claimed to be.
Hang your head in shame.
Okay.
Okay.
So, welcome to Drawing Conclusions. I'm Jessica.
I'm Josh.
And today we are reviewing Dark Phoenix, the latest X-Men movie, Dark Phoenix.
Yes.
Starring Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, James McAvoy as Charles Xavier.
Yeah, the usual cast is back.
Yeah,
The
blah,
usual
blah.
suspects.
Kai
whatever.
Sheridan as Cyclops. Who else is in this? Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender's
of course, as
Magneto.
Okay, and Jessica Chastain as...
Somebody.
Yeah. And if you don't know that she's the villain, actually, that's really, like...
That's on you.
Seen the trailers. Like, it's pretty obvious.
No,
Anyway,
is she the villain?
that's not really a spoiler. Okay, Josh, what did you think of this movie? That good, huh? So unlike me, Josh is a true X-Men fan.
I used to be. Growing up as a kid, X-Men comics, I love them. This story that this movie is based off of, the Dark Phoenix saga, back in the early 80s, written by Chris Claremont, illustrated by John Byrne. It was one of my favorite all-time comics. I still read it today. So I was not a super huge fan of this movie. That said, it was not terrible. But it wasn't good either.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to tiptoe around this without giving spoilers because we don't do that. The story there were times when it was really good and engaging and times where it just fumbles and just goes flat and is really dull. And you're just like, oh, what was going on here? Why am I, what's happening?
Right.
There are some great set pieces, some cool visual effects, and some really nice action sequences, stuff happening. But then stuff will just grind to a halt almost.
Right.
And just slog it out. I don't know why that they did that kind of thing. But, that happens. And
yeah, well, and the dialogue just sometimes just doesn't make sense, or it's...
No.
Or it makes the characters seem dumb.
Right.
Or insensitive, or they're
not very thoughtful.
They're
that's for sure.
supposed to be you're supposed to be on their side, but I'm like, I'm not on your side for saying that. Why would you say that?
Yeah, they're
why
trying
are you being so mean and thoughtless and heartless to the people that are supposedly your friends?
Yeah, and quote family. I'm like, really? Okay,
right.
Thanks for that.
And I feel like the reactions to certain things that happen in this movie are not totally in character for some of the...
No, it does feel out of place.
Characters in the movie feels exaggerated and kind of like, well, it doesn't really fit this character, but this is how we want to, this is what we want to have happen in the story.
Well, yeah, they kind of force a conflict into the place or into the story without it being natural or organic.
Yeah,
it does feel some of it feels really forced.
Yeah, but there are some really cool scenes in terms of fight scenes and action scenes that take place in the movie. There are some things that look really nice.
Yes.
And that are pretty inventive things I haven't quite seen before. Mm-hmm. That I thought was really nice. I thought the special effects for this, Dark Phoenix Force, whatever. I thought the special effects for that in particular looked really nice, actually, in the movie, and was really well rendered. I thought some of the performances were pretty good. I actually really like Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. I think Michael Fassbender always does a good job.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a ton to do in this movie.
No, and that to me is a problem. There's a lot of characters / actors who don't have a lot to do in this movie, who should actually be way more relevant.
Yeah.
Ty Sheridan looking at you.
So, this is the thing. This is one of the hard things about taking what was a pretty, sizable comic series, right? Like a story that went on for many issues.
Sure.
And then trying to condense it down
at
to
least 6.
This movie. And then, but also besides the fact that this comic series went on for those, that particular storyline went on for 6 issues, you have all the other history that leads up to it of the characters thing. And so when you have a lot of characters, you have this ensemble cast, right?
Sure.
They haven't all each had their individual movies and their individual moments to shine where they're the focal character. They did the right thing by making Jean Grey the focal character.
Yes.
But they had this ensemble cast, and you don't really know very much at all about any of the other characters except for Professor X and Magneto and then
Well,
a little bit about Beast and then Raven because of the previous films.
right.
But like,
Well, the other
Cyclops,
characters.
you don't know a ton about him.
Well, you probably learn more about him from the previous film X-Men Apocalypse, which admittedly I didn't see.
Yeah.
But we weren't reviewing movies at the time because the movie didn't look great in the trailer.
So we didn't see it.
We did not see it. But even still, you should be able to give enough substance to the characters to get their motivation, to actually understand a little bit about them. It was missing. It was really missing. And I agree with you, it was smart to have Jean Grey be the focal point of the story, but they needed someone else right there along with her to try to talk her down. And, I don't know that they had that. I mean...
Well, they had several characters kind of filling that role.
Yeah, they needed to have one.
Because they were trying to give everybody screen time, so it's just as hard. The reason why, like, for instance, the Marvel movies work where they bring on multiple characters, and especially like in Avengers, when they have all of the characters in there, is because all of those characters have had movies where you get to have them, be fully developed before they get into this ensemble piece. And of course, with X-Men, that's not going to happen. And so it's hard to build the history of these characters from scratch. Even over the course of a few different movies, especially because they've messed with the timeline, so the history of the characters kind of keeps changing.
Erasing X-Men 3, The Last Stand.
So which was the right choice?
Yes, because that movie is a poopy.
A couple of things about this movie that really bothered me were just the total lack of concern given in the costuming department in terms of trying to make it look like this movie actually took place in 1992. Yeah. Everyone was dressed like, it might as well have been 2019 based on how everybody was dressed, and even a lot of the set design, it might as well have just been, it could have been any era. And as well with the music, they didn't try to pick they had like 70s music from the beginning part of the show.
Yeah.
Where they were in the 70s, but most of the movie takes place in the 90s, and there was like nothing.
No.
That told you that it was in the 90s.
I'm like, that would be a wealth of, musical, like, treasure to go plunder and put in the show.
And so on top of the fact that also that the plot was just kind of not super interesting, a little muddled, and well, I don't know if muddled, but just kind of like not super engaging maybe. And then and that the characters weren't fully developed or well developed. On top of all that, the music was so annoying in this movie.
Not good.
The score
was not great. It was really just the kind of score that beats you over the head, and you just like want to hit the mute button and turn it off.
Bombastic and distracting, and doesn't serve the story. It's like serving itself instead of.
Yeah, it's not accentuating.
It's like, hey, look at me, I'm the music. Yeah. And it's like, no.
No, we want to watch what's going on.
Right.
We only want to kind of get the
just
vibe.
You should be enhancing what's going on, not trying to steal our attention away from it.
Yeah, there was one scene in particular where like the music just like almost overshadowed the dialogue to the point where you almost couldn't hear the characters.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that's not good.
Yeah.
But this movie actually does make me appreciate how really great Marvel has handled their universe, the MCU,
right,
in bringing about these long drawn out projects, setting it up effectively. If the people over at Fox, back when they had a chance to do this stuff, they could have done. They could have had something truly great on their hands right here, culminating in something a really great story. But I don't know. They seem to like just kind of stumble over the same problems that the X3 The Last Stand had. And just like, if you've seen that movie and you like it, that's fine. That's your opinion. I personally hate it.
They corrected a couple of sins from it, which was like the biggest problem was that they had this Phoenix story be a sideline story in X3.
Yeah,
kind of.
Did.
It's weird. It's like it wasn't really the focal. It was
weird. Well, it shifted right away. But but so they did better than that because that movie was not great, not at all. I can't hardly watch that show anymore. But this one is better than that. But that's a low bar.
Right.
Anyway.
So, Josh, what rating would you give this movie?
I give it a 2.
Yeah.
Again, as someone who loved this story, original story way back when, I was trying to be open-minded going into this, and parts of it worked, but a lot of it didn't, and I think they could have done a better job. And
Yeah.
it makes me happy that Fox got bought by Disney, so they can take another stab at this.
So 2 out of 5 from Josh.
Yeah.
For me, it's closer to like a 2.75 maybe. I thought there were some moments that were really good, really engaging, even emotional at times. There were some things that were really nice to look at, some action sequences that were really
Yeah.
fun to watch. So there was enough in it to me that was like entertaining and worthwhile that I didn't feel like, why did I have to sit through this? I want to, I wish I were anywhere else. No, there was enough to keep me entertained, but it certainly wasn't a great movie and not something that I am planning to like own one day or watch over and over again. Like
It was fairly forgettable.
I'm good if I never watch this ever again.
Yeah.
So, Josh, tell us a little bit about this drawing that you did for our Dark Phoenix review.
I wanted to do some more pastels on pastel paper because I love it. I love the texture, but I took some of the poster art and promotional stuff that they had for the X-Men Dark Phoenix, with Sophie Turner as the focal point of the poster, and put her in the retro outfit from the 80s, and with the Phoenix Force behind her in the shape of the mythic bird, and just kind of showing, I don't know, kind of a cool look at the powers that she had, and just, I don't know, I always loved it. I thought some of the drawings that they had way back when were super cool and still are cool, and just wanted to try and capture that, and did kind of like a more comic interpretation of the character from the movie.
Well, I think it looks really nice. Turned out really nice, really beautiful. I love the pastel pencil work that you do. I think it's really nice.
Thank you.
All right, so that is it for Drawing Conclusions review of Dark Phoenix. Josh, what should they do now?
Well, if you haven't already, subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell.
Ding, ding.
We should have said that at the beginning.
Dope.
Yes. Anyway, share this video with others. Sharing is caring. Comment. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what you thought. If you're an original story fan from the comics, or you do like this new take, both are valid. We'd love to hear from you. And what's the other one? Like this video.
Like it, share it, comment in it, notification bell it.
Also, check us out on Patreon. Subscribe over there for $3 a month and get the Drive Home podcast, our fresh take from right out of the theater.
And get digital artwork, hard copy prints, and things like that, other cool rewards by joining our Patreon. Okay, that's it. Thanks.